Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. जय राधा कृष्ण चंद्र राधा कृष्ण चंद्र राधे। जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम। जय निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो जय निताय गौरांगो। जय प्रहलाद नरसिंह प्रहलाद नरसिंह प्रहलाद नरसिंह जय सुदर्शना। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद। जय जय गुरुदेव प्रभुपाद गुरुदेव जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की जय। मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। जगन्नाथपुरी क्षेत्र की जय। गंगा माई यमुना माई की जय। वृंद देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण चंद्र की जय। श्री श्री कृष्ण बलराम की जय। श्री श्री निताय गौरांग की जय। श्री श्री प्रहलाद नरसिंह देव की जय। श्री श्री सुदर्शन भगवान की जय। हरि नाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. ग्रंथरा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेष्व भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तम श्लोके Bhaktir bhavati naistiki. Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 7th Canto, 10th chapter, verse number 19. Yatra, yatra, cha, madbhaktah, yatra, yatra, cha, madbhaktah, prashantah, samadarshinaha, prashanta, samadarshinaha, sadhavaha, samudacharas, sadhava samudacharas, te puyante api kikatah, te puyante pikikatah, yatra yatra cha madbhaktah, prashanta samadarshinaha, sadhava samudacharas, te puyante pikikatah. Yatra yatra cha madbhaktaah. Te puyante pikikataah. Yatra yatra cha madbhaktaah. Prashanta samadarshinaha. Sadhava samudacha. Cha madbhaktaah. Prashanta samadarshinaha. Sadhava samudacharas. Yatra yatra, wherever and whenever. Cha, also, madbhaktaah, my devotees. Prashantah, extremely peaceful. Samadarshinaha, equipoised. Sadhavaha, decorated with all good qualities. Samudachara, equally magnanimous. Te, all of them. Puyante, are purified. Api, even. Kikataha, a degraded country, or the inhabitants of such a place. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. Whenever and wherever there are peaceful, equipoised devotees who are well behaved and decorated with all good qualities, that place and the dynasties there, even if condemned, are purified. Please repeat. Whenever and wherever there are peaceful, equipoised devotees who are well behaved and decorated with all good qualities, that place and the dynasties there, even if condemned, are purified. Purport. Wherever exalted devotees stay, not only they and their dynasties, but the entire country is purified. Please repeat. I'm sorry. Yeah. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Ajnananjanashalakaya चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। In the previous verse, Lord Narsingdev explained how the dynasties are purified, not of this life, but of previous life, 7 generations, and previous to previous life also. And here in this verse, another extraordinary thing is being explained by the Lord, that not just family, yes, we are living with the family, they may get purified, there is some connection, but entire country, it is being explained here. Entire country, te puyante api kikataha. The purpose is purification, and everyone has to work hard for the purification. As Prabhupada explains, I am training you, but at the end, it depends upon your practice. Just like when the birds are flying together, they may take encouragement from each other by seeing each other's flight, but everyone flies on his or her own strength. Similarly, Prabhupada tells, I am giving you all the rules and regulations, how you can train yourself very nicely, but ultimately, our success depends upon our individual strength. We have to fly, just like a plane is also flying in the sky. That once the plane has taken off, then nobody can help it. It has to fly on its own, on its own strength. Similarly, Prabhupada tells, now we are together following Krishna consciousness, but at the time of death, if you are not able to keep your consciousness right, we might not be able to meet at the other end. So one has to fly on one's own strength. But then Prabhupada explains, this strength also we gain in the association of devotees. And it is explained here. How do we get this strength? Simply by the presence of pure devotee, not just that family, but Puyante api ki kataha, entire country is purified, entire country gets strength. So that is why it is told here many times, people are not able to appreciate this Krishna consciousness. And of course, nobody can challenge us because entire day we are working just for the benefit of everyone. Morning to evening, devotees are going out, they are trying to help other people. They can see practically we are doing work, we are spreading knowledge. But let's say a person is not spreading knowledge. One is following Krishna consciousness for his own self, for his own purification. Still, such a person, one such pure devotee, can purify entire country by his mere presence. Such is the power of a pure devotee of the Lord, simply by his presence. On the other hand, non devotee, even if he may work very, very hard, he will not be able to purify even his own self, what to speak of others. So, everyone wants a very, very peaceful life that is mentioned here. Prashanta, Samudacharas, everyone should be magnanimous. Everyone should be very, very peaceful. But the materialist is not able to keep even his own self peaceful. So one of our devotees, he met some bureaucrats, and so Prabhu is in regular service of meeting bureaucrats, and other some senior officers. So they are very qualified people. They have cleared one of the toughest exams of the country. So Prabhu met them. So a couple of them, they came together, and they started discussing, and they were praising, oh, very nice. So what do you do entire day? He tells, entire day we do this thing, we do seva, we preach. Oh, it's very nice. And what about family? Says we are discussing yesterday, I mean last Sunday, that the devotee has to be very liberal, as it is mentioned. Yes, samadarshina. Any responsible person, just like even that police officer might be there. Police officer also has to be samadarshina. Police officer cannot tell that, oh, you are my family, you may commit crime, I will not touch you. And he is an outsider, I will punish him. Or I have some animosity towards him or her, I will punish him for no reason. No, one cannot. So they also have to be equipoised. So any great personality, a king, a leader, they have to be equipoised. This is very much required. They have to be magnanimous. So that is why this sannyas order, as we discussed in the last Sunday, it is taken for what? To have this liberal mindedness. It is not selfish motive. I want my personal enjoyment, so I am renouncing. No, that is not the reason. The reason is the brahmanas, the devotees, the kings, the leaders, public leaders, they have to be very, very liberal. They cannot be narrow minded. I will take care of just these 3 4 people and let the whole world do whatever they are doing. I don't care. No. So for a devotee, there is no difference. It is narrow mindedness, it is selfishness. Just these people I will take care, other people or other animals, other living entities, I will not bother about. No, this is not the case. So that is why, just to practice this liberal mindedness, that is called samadarshinaha, people take to renounced order of life, to take responsibility not just of 2 3 people, but that of entire civilization. And powerful devotees, entire universe. They plan how to preach. So thus Prabhupada would tell, after this planet, I'll go to hellish planets to preach. Because in hell you don't find many devotees and people are suffering there. So some very powerful devotees like Srila Prabhupada, they are planning how to deliver whole universe. This planet we have to go, the next planet we have to go, some other places. So they were very much praising, oh, you have renounced everything so that you can do welfare, your life is very nice. Actually, you have taken very nice decision. And they were, in a lighter note, they were talking to each other that he quitted at a very nice time. It is so much of headache, this family life. Managing wife and mother together, it is the biggest challenge. So actually it is common sense. So a person, so these people are given responsibility of maintaining law and order in the state. So if you cannot maintain law and order in your own house, where is the possibility of maintaining law and order in state? You want to keep your city peaceful. If your house is not peaceful, can city be peaceful? No. So that is why it is a farce. Such examination is useless, and such people are also useless. I mean, not their fault, but out of ignorance. Entire system is useless, and we can see from the result of the system. So thus 5-year plannings are going on, planning to make the world peaceful, planning to make individual life peaceful. Neither individual is peaceful, nor the world is peaceful. So that is why this is called useless. Useless means anartha. So anything which does not help us to attain the ultimate goal of life, which is to become a pure devotee of Krishna, that is called anartha or useless. So what is anartha? This civilization, you pick up more and more useless things, more and more useless habit. And now because you have picked up one useless thing, you have to study so much to maintain that uselessness. You have to do research to maintain that uselessness. Actually, it is not required. It is taking away your peace of life. So that is why it is called useless. You want ultimately prashanta, but no. And in order, so this is called anartha. And how these anarthas can be removed? Only by anarthopashamam sakshat bhakti yogam adhokshaje. Only by the practice of Bhakti Yoga. There is no other way. Everything else is futile, we have seen. So why we are appointing a person to maintain law and order, peace in the society, if there is no law and order and peace in one's own house? And how can there be peace in one's own house unless a person is having peace within himself? Isn't it? If we are very disturbed within, then what will manifest without? Disturbance. That is but natural. So if a person is not having peace within himself, where is the question of having peace outside? In the family, his own family is not peaceful. How he can make other families peaceful? So that is why examination should be whether a person is peaceful within or not. That is why earlier the kings who were given responsibility of controlling the entire, why a single person was able to control entire planet, that is mentioned in Bhagavatam, because they were able to very nicely control their mind and senses. Your system is not in control. You want to control other systems. Is it possible? How is it possible? It is impossible. Your own senses, these are your senses. You have full command, or you are supposed to have full command on our mind and senses. So if I cannot control my mind and senses, how can I control others? That is why when a king was morose, the sage asks him, King, are your mind and senses under control? Because unless you control them, you cannot control your ministers, family and subjects. Without which there is no question of peace, law and order. So that is why the first training should be to control one's own mind and senses. This is what is taught to students. This is called real education. Shama Dama Tapashaucham. And this is what Brahmanas, they are very expert at, controlling one's mind and senses. Then such a person who is self-controlled, then he can control everyone else also. That is why the people, the kings, Raj Rishis, such people were able to control entire planet for many, many years without disturbance. But now because if self-control is not there, what to speak of controlling? Even children are not under control. Family is not under control. Yes, you cannot control. It is not possible. So this is very important point. So thus we can see uselessness of such examinations, uselessness of such systems. So thus this is very important. So this is called very common sense understanding of Krishna consciousness. It is not blind faith. It is evident. It is practical. And there is practical proof also. How all these youngsters, Prabhupadas now, they are very expert in picking up anarthas. And recently they picked up another anartha. And what is that? LSD. LSD was special drugs which was out at that time. And all the Westerners, they were high on those drugs. So like this, anarthas were increasing, and governments in Europe, America was spending so much of money to save their youth from these drugs, but they were unable. But now, when the movement went Krishna consciousness, they gave up all these things. So thus Prabhupada, as you can see practically, how it is happening. So thus Prabhupada explained, everything should be seen by practical result. Here there is practical result, you can see. Anarthas, they are giving up. And unless we give up anarthas in our life, there is no question of peace. These anarthas, unwanted things in our life, which is not required for keeping body and soul together. Whole world is crying, Prabhupada explains. Food problem, there is food shortage. Yes, food crisis. Prabhupadas, they are not forgetting to drink tea every day. Prabhupada's famous instance is also there. Prabhupada, I asked my wife, me or tea? So Prabhupada told tea. So Prabhupada told, then I walked out. So yes, this habit people have got. That tea they are drinking very nicely. 3 times in a day, 5 times in a day, 10 times in a day. Let there be tea always. So what is the need of tea? Is it required? No. The Britishers introduced this tea system. Tea was not at all there. They introduced it free of cost. Then people got addicted. Then they started charging. Now swathes of land are wasted just for cultivating this useless crop which is addictive in nature. And people survived without it for a very long time, thousands of years. Tea was not there before Britishers. And rather, it was considered intoxication. Actually, intoxication, just like in the so-called higher circles, drinking beer is as common as you drink water. So rather, one of our students, he went to uh, French university. So he tells Prabhu, here beer is free, but for water we have to pay. So we can just see the degradation. Beer is free, water you have to purchase. So for them, beer is very normal. So similarly, tea has become normal, but it was not normal. It was considered intoxication. So this is Nartha. People were living without it for a very long time. Now we are telling food shortage and we are cultivating tea and coffee, and so much land is getting wasted. So in this way, if we see, lot many unwanted things we have picked up in our life. Rather, this material body itself is unwanted. So anyway, even if we have this material body, we should be satisfied. It is very important. Just with the bare minimum necessities of life, then we will be prashanta, we will be peaceful. If we go any more than minimum, the bare minimum maintenance of the body, there is no question of peace. Anartha means disturbance. That means lower modes of nature, Rajoguna and Tamoguna. So one should practice just to have a life of minimum maintenance, and then you see how much peaceful you are. Just this tendency of enjoying the senses brings all dissatisfaction in our life. So initially it will be troublesome. Oh, I have to regulate the senses. Senses are demanding. No, give trouble. Little control the senses. Try to have a simple lifestyle, simple food, simple clothes, simple house, simple things. And when the anarthas are not there, then a person is very happy, very peaceful. So there are various instances. Today we are seeing the youth who have picked up Krishna consciousness, how very easily they give up all these unwanted things in their life. Anarthas are given up. And the examples are there in the Shastras. When Sanatan Goswami was being ordered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that you please write the Vaishnava etiquettes. What are the Vaishnava etiquettes? The standard behavior which a devotee is supposed to follow. So behavior etiquettes are very, very important for a Vaishnava. They are the ornaments of a Vaishnava. Vaishnavas do not wear very expensive ornaments, but still they are beautified by certain ornaments. Which are those ornaments? They are called Vaishnava etiquettes. So beauty of the Vaishnava lies in his etiquettes. So that is why, and beauty means we don't want to attract any materialist. Of course, materialists are also very much attracted by such etiquettes. But Krishna and pure devotees, they are attracted. That is our prime motto, to attract the attention of Krishna by such etiquettes. And one such beautiful etiquette is mentioned in Bhagavatam also. And such etiquette, such behavior, it captivates the heart of Krishna. So what is that behavior which captivates the heart of Krishna? So this is mentioned in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, when four Kumaras went to Vaikuntha and they cursed Jay and Vijay. At that time, Lord Vishnu, he came out and then he gave wonderful instructions. So he tells, my heart becomes captivated by the devotees who, even though when the Brahmanas utter harsh words, they don't behave nicely, they always welcome the Brahmanas with lotus-like face, with a smile on their faces. So even though Brahmanas are uttering very harsh words, the other devotees, they try to maintain a very lotus-like face and they welcome them and try to pacify them with pleasing words. As a son pacifies or is supposed to pacify an angry father, such a person captivates my heart, Lord Krishna is telling. So if we see any Brahmana is uttering harsh word, we are not supposed to utter harsh words in response. Rather, one is supposed to have a very pleasing face and try to pacify the other person. And what to speak of the community of Vaishnavas in which we are living. So sometimes there might be some disagreement. Those disagreements could be because of wrong behavior of some person.
But still, we are not supposed to behave like that in a similar fashion. We are supposed to always maintain a standard behavior that is called liberation. My action does not depend upon behavior of others. So others may behave nicely, Prabhupadas, others may not behave nicely, but I will always behave nicely. This is called liberation. I am not getting affected by others' behavior. If I get affected by others' behavior, that is called conditioned life. I always behave very nicely towards others. He does not behave nicely, I pacify them. And such a behavior, Lord Krishna tells, it captivates my heart. So that is why it is very important to practice these Vaishnava etiquettes. I always behave like a servant. I always try to give respect, try to pacify other Brahmanas, and what to speak of devotees. So these etiquettes are very important. So Mahaprabhu told you, please describe. And Sanatan Goswami told, but how can I describe? I am born in a very low family, low graded family. They were born in good families, but by their association of the people who had bad habits, meat eating, they were considered themselves Rup Goswami, Sanatan Goswami. They were thinking, we are degraded now. That is the humility of a Vaishnava. So, how can I do this? How can I describe? So, then Sanatan Goswami requests that you please manifest in my heart, then only I will be able to describe these things. So, if we have to describe transcendental subject matters, especially the Vaishnava literatures, this qualification is very much required that Lord should manifest in one's heart. So, this practice we have to do. So, while we are preaching now, we are trying to preach, especially in this month, we preach very rigorously. So, we'll be able to preach very nicely to others when Lord is manifest in our heart. Yad angri abhidhyana samadhi dhautaya dhyanu hi tattvamatmanaha. How can we describe about Krishna unless we have realized the science of Krishna? Atma Tattvam, the science of self or science of Krishna. And who can understand Atma Tattva or science of Krishna? Dhyanu hi tattvamatmanaha. Atma Tattva can be understood by intelligence which is completely purified. And who is having a purified intelligence? Now just see, intelligence is so impure, people don't realize, if I am not peaceful, how my family can be peaceful? If my family is not peaceful, I am a top leader, minister, or a bureaucrat, or any person, how can I keep the country peaceful? This common sense does not strike people because intelligence is impure. So, who is having a purified intelligence? Who is always meditating on Yad Angri Abhidhyan Samadhi Dhautaya. Who is always meditating on the Angri means lotus feet. That is why Krishna is also called Pankajangri. Pankaj means lotus. Krishna's feet are very beautiful like lotus. Yad Angri Abhidhyan Samadhi. One who is wrapped in constant meditation. Samadhi means deep and constant meditation. So, one who is having such deep, uninterrupted, constant meditation on the lotus feet of Krishna, then the intelligence is purified completely. And such a person can understand Atma Tattvam and he can describe Krishna consciousness. So, thus, we have to practice. That is why we do deity worship and book distribution very, very nicely. Both these processes are very important. Of course, we are discussing if a devotee, even a devotee satisfied by following his spiritual life, he also can purify entire country. Just like mere Prabhupada's presence has purified entire planet. So many people have given up bad habits. So many people are getting purified simply by his presence. But still, we will not be able to do it unless we follow both the practices very nicely. The deity worship Pancharatriki as well as Bhagavat Vidhi. Because purification actually happens by the mercy of the spiritual master. With our efforts, we can take us ourselves to certain level, but not beyond that. So if we have to please our spiritual master, we have to follow his instruction. And his instruction is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction. Janma sartha kari karo paropkar. First of all, you follow the rules and regulations very nicely, and then you go and explain it to others also. Then we will be purified. So thus it is important both the things. When we follow Pancharatriki Vidhi very nicely, very strictly we do deity worship, then such a process helps us to think of lotus feet of Krishna always. And at the same time, we have to go out and preach, distribute the books to others, Prabhupada. And such an activity as book distribution, Prabhupada explains, as we have discussed many times, Prabhupada explains in purport to 10th canto. Nowhere else Prabhupada mentions, Prabhupada here he is mentioning, all the activities of our Krishna consciousness movement are centered around book distribution. And such activities always remind one of the lotus feet of Krishna. So thus Prabhupada has told, if you do book distribution very nicely, such activities will always remind you of lotus feet of Krishna. So these both things we should do nicely. Do book distribution, preach, and follow Krishna consciousness here, Pancharatri ki Vidhi, deity worship very nicely. So both these aspects of Krishna consciousness are important. Pancharatri ki and Bhagavat, deity worship and preaching, book distribution. Then one will be able to think of lotus feet of Krishna. One understands about Krishna very nicely. One becomes very peaceful. And because he is peaceful, entire country is purified. Entire country becomes prashanta. They also become peaceful. They also become equipoised by presence of such a pure devotee of Krishna. So today we'll be finishing soon because it's penultimate weekend of our book marathon. Very unique time. Usually all of you are engaged in your jobs and colleges. So on weekends only we find time. So balanced, we are having around 45 minutes more. We finish around 9:15, 9:20. So that time also, if you are very busy, I'm not having any time apart from hearing Bhagavatam class. So we are giving time. Okay, so this time let us focus on book distribution. Then we will actually realize Bhagavatam class. I also will distribute so that I also can speak better Bhagavatam class. So it is very much required. Otherwise, if we are not engaged in activity of Krishna consciousness, it is explained, then it is like licking the bottle of honey from outside. We will not be able to taste it. If we actually engage ourselves in Krishna consciousness, then we are relishing the nectar. So this is very, very important. So if we don't engage this ourselves practically, work hard for preaching Krishna consciousness, then such peace will not come. When devotees are asking how to be humble, because we know we have to follow Vaishnava etiquettes. Yes, I have to captivate the heart of Krishna, I have to get his attention. But then sometimes there are disturbances. I am not able to live nicely even with Vaishnavas. So how to do it? So thus Prabhupada told, you have to be very, very aggressive. Oh, I am asking how to be peaceful. Prabhupada is telling you have to be aggressive. I told, yes, you have to be lion in the chase and lamb at home. So unless you are lion in the chase, you cannot be lamb at home. So at home, we should be lamb. Lamb is very meek, very humble, and lion is very aggressive. So Prabhupada told, for preaching, you have to be very, very aggressive. Aggressive means if somebody does not take book, then beat him black and blue. No. Aggressive means Prabhupada is just like a salesman is very aggressive. A salesman is not beating his customer. No, but he is very polite, he is gentle, but repeatedly tells, sir, ma'am, please take it. It is very nice. Please take it. He tells 100 benefits, 101 benefits. So that is called aggression. He is very gentle, but he is very persistent, requesting, at the same time not irritating. So this policy we have. Aggression means with gentle behavior, with persuasiveness, we can try. At the same time, not irritating, gently telling 100 times, take no, please take no, I have come out. Why don't you take? No, don't irritate also. So another principle is we are meeting people, we should always leave good impression to people. There are so many people, people have been purified by repeated touch of devotees. If people don't take books, we tell them, please touch the books. By touch, they'll become purified. At least touch the book. Read one line, please. I'm not requesting to take. They'll be purified by this. So if you are very aggressive in preaching, automatically, Prabhupada says, there will be no aggression left at home. We have limited aggression. That is why if we have eaten outside, we cannot eat at home. So we have limited capacity to eat. So Prabhupada says, this you will realize with progressive advancement in Krishna consciousness. So if you are very aggressive, no, I want to preach, I want to spread this thing at home, with family, with devotees, we'll be peaceful. Otherwise, we can see practically, I've been chanting 16 rounds, I might have taken initiation also, but family life will not be peaceful. Or I'm a full-time devotee also, but with devotees, I am fighting, I am arguing, there is misunderstanding. But when there is strong preaching spirit, so with devotees, with family, we'll always be peaceful. This has to be practically experienced, and very easily we can experience in this activity of distributing the books. So let us try to work hard in distributing books, in preaching. Let us be very peacefully aggressive and try to spread, make more devotees, and then we see we are very, very peaceful. Prashanta and good qualities will manifest in our heart also. And then Prabhupada tells, by your presence, you will also make the place purified. So we'll end here. Any questions? Yeah. Yeah. Normally, Vaishnavas are do not get expensive ornaments. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good question. So, for those who are full time into Krishna consciousness, they can follow. The question is those who are living a family life outside, they have to wear ornaments, they go socialize in various functions. So, how do they manage without they might have to wear if you go in a torn cloth in a wedding ceremony? So, is it okay? Can we do this? Or what does it mean? How to practice? So, yes, so practical thing has been explained by Goswamis. Yes, you have to maintain some living standard, but that standard should not be so. Ideal standard is yes, very simple life. We have no time, time is very less, and anytime death can happen. So, have a very simple life, even if you are a family person, wife, children, husband, everyone should be engaged in Sankirtan, in reading books and distributing books. That should be the only business, best business recommended by Prabhupada. And the whole family will be ecstatic. If you cannot do this, then up to 50 years, you can have a standard life in which you can have your standard of living not exceeding 50% of your income. So, somewhere we have to put limit. You can beg, borrow, steal, and maintain your family level. So the level is 50% of your income, not beyond that. With that, we should be satisfied. In that, you maintain yourself. But that also not eternally, as it is explained in the example of many examples, in typical case of Mrigari, who became purified by the touch of Narad Muni. So Narad Muni told, now you break your bow and you sit down on the bank of the river in a cottage. So it is, if I break my bow, how will I live? This is my way of living. Narad Muni told, do not worry, I will arrange it for you. But you just keep the things which are required for maintenance, not more than that. So Prabhupada tells, this is the example which is followed, which is to be followed by everyone in Krishna consciousness. We have many householders in Krishna consciousness also. But it does not mean entire life they are stuck in the family. At 50 years, they also should go and live in a cottage. Cottage means they can live around a temple, and they should not no further socialize and do all these regular things, because time is very less. Anytime death can happen, and after death everything is forgotten, and valuable human moments might be wasted. We might not have more time left with us. Even if you do not realize at 50 years, one should follow the example of Mrigari. One should then give up whatever one is doing for one's own maintenance, like the Mrigari gave up his bow, and donate the wealth in the service of Brahmanas who have realized the absolute truth, or the Vaishnavas. And then with husband and wife, they should have a very simple life. After donating their accumulated wealth, just you engage yourself in the service of Krishna very nicely. So this is the standard which is to be followed by everyone if they want success in life. Till 50 years, you can maintain yourself with 50% of your expenses. And after 50 years, husband and wife dedicate themselves for Krishna service completely. Any other question? Online, do we have some questions?
ISKCONites, they say that other organization of Krishna consciousness will not attain God's abode.
Okay, there's a question. So the question is ISKCONites. They tell means those who belong or they are affiliated to ISKCON, they are connected. That people of other organization, they will not attain God's abode. So is it right or wrong? And why? Only ISKCON people will go back to God. Why others will not go back? So that is not fact. Kingdom of God is open to everyone. But one has to follow the principles very nicely. And even if a person who is affiliated with the ISKCON or Hare Krishna movement They may also not go back if they do not follow the rules, regulations very nicely. So it depends who is following nicely. Realization of Krishna consciousness. So the question is, as we discussed in the beginning of lecture, everyone has to fly on his own strength. One has to practice on their own strength. So the realization of Krishna consciousness is same or different for all. So it is different for all. Depends how much sincere a person is. So Krishna is noticing, Krishna is there in the heart. So he notices how much sincere the person is, how much painstaking the devotee is for spiritual realization. Basis that Krishna will reciprocate. So ye yathamam prapadyante tans tathaiv bhajamyaham. How much we are sincere, we are painstaking in the service of Krishna, in that proportion, Krishna will reciprocate and we will have realizations. So it is highly specific, highly individual subject matter. Yes. Very nice question. How we can deepen our relationship with Prabhupada, because success of life depends upon relationship with spiritual master, how intimate the relationship is. So here also in this world, how do we strengthen or deepen any relationship? It is by rendering service. Thus Prabhupada gives example. In Vedic culture, husband and wife, they have not seen each other and they are married. They do not know each other. There is hardly any bonding or relationship. But then the bond becomes so strong that wives would do sati. What is sati? They cannot imagine a life without husband. Just like people commit suicide when there is breakup in relationships. So that time also, but there is bona fide way of suicide. That is called sati, because wife cannot tolerate, cannot bear, the bond has become so deep. So this is very scientific arrangement. This child marriage is very scientific, because when women cross certain age, women develop attraction for men at an early age. Men develop that, unless today entire world is polluted, so this happens at early age also. Men develop such strong infatuation at a later age. So thus woman is young and a man is little elderly, 4 5 years, 10 years elderly at least, and then they are married. So in marriage, one person has to take the lead. If that person is elderly in age also, then naturally such a person commands more respect. So husband is naturally senior in age, so wife can be naturally submissive. So if one person leads, then there will be naturally peace in the family. And just see, Krishna has designed the science so nicely. Man will not be so much attracted to woman at an early age if there is no pollution by bad association later age. But before such infatuation, children are not attracted like that. So before they mature into adolescence, such infatuation is arising, they should get married. So they know when such attraction comes in my heart, where should it be directed towards? So from the very beginning, the woman is thinking about that man, man is thinking about that woman. So this bond becomes very strong. Especially it becomes strong when they render service. Even after marriage, they don't live together, but they know I have a husband. When they start living together and they start serving each other, do they make that bond very, very intimate? So that is why it is by service. Attraction for Krishna or for the spiritual master is given by them when they are pleased with our service. So when spiritual master is pleased with our service, then he gives love for his lotus feet. So that is why we have to work very hard in the service of spiritual master, and then we will develop love for him, intimate relationship. So we'll finish here. Granthra Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Transcendental Book Marathon ki jai.